put on the microphone. And then put on the desktop audio. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the pregame show. I am your host. Or we're back. Actually, first off, we're back. We're back from last week. I'm still a little overexposed. Like my entire right side is just all white. It's just like I'm just being reflected off the sunlight here. Where's myself? Where's my cam? So, well, I figured this out. Again, for those who have been, well, we were gone last week. I did upload the previous six pregame shows on the podcast tubes. So at this point, everybody should be caught up. Question is, should be. So while we were gone, we still had people listening to us one way or another. Do that. Apply. There we go. It's a little better. It's a little better. What was I gonna do? Shit. Oh, right. Set up your Overwatch minute. That's right. Okay, so I'm gonna do that. Okay. So just do this. So funny enough. So I'm assuming submissions for the movie summer wager is done, right?
Yes. However, we did not record the episode today. Josh woke up like in the middle of the day, feeling like absolute ass, and I just felt like ass because I was up all night, not feeling good. So we were both just tired, and we were like, "Well, fuck it, let's do it tomorrow." So we're gonna record that tomorrow when I get home from work. But we got quite a few submissions, so I'll just say that much.
Okay.
But yeah, the crazy thing about the Summer Movie Wager is that there's a lot of movies in there that I don't know where they're going to land.
Yeah,
Genuinely, I don't.
It's pretty insane.
You got two of Disney's biggest animated features, Aladdin and Lion King, going up against each other this summer in their quote unquote live action form. I don't really consider the Lion King one live action, even though it's more photorealistic.
Yeah.
I have absolutely no idea where those are going to land. Like they're going to be high on the list, I assume, but
yeah, it's going to be tough because I was looking through the list and there are definitely some tough ones on there that I'm like trying to figure out. It's like, oh, where exactly is this gonna land?
I can pull up lists and stuff because it's finalized. Like we're not accepting anymore. And
even if I threw one at you right now.
I already got yours copy and pasted, sir. So
not mine, my brother's, because I kind of like told him about it like a little bit later on. It's like, you're not going to be entered, but just out of curiosity, what was your thoughts? Because he's a bit more movie buff than I am.
So that's not your list.
No, that is my list. I got a separate list from my brother. Yeah. It doesn't matter if he enters or not.
Well, if he gave you a list, then that's fine. We can talk about it.
Okay.
My thing was like, if you hadn't given me a list, I wouldn't read off other lists.
Gotcha.
I
can read off what he put down. Because he's more of a movie person than I am. Also, it helps that he's been working at a video store for about a good year or so, and he's been watching a lot of movies. So he's been more into that than I have. But I got his list, so if you don't mind, I can read off what he put down for his top 10 and dark horses.
Sure.
All right, so
bring up my list.
I'll start with his dark horses. I'll go from the bottom up. So at number 3, he puts Child's Play.
That's actually one of my dark horses.
Number 2, Annabelle Comes Home.
That's my list.
And number 1 is Midsummer. I don't know how to pronounce that. But that's his 3 dark horses. And his top 10. All right,
I
go ahead.
just don't see. I don't see two of those even making the top 10 at all.
I put Child's Play in my dark horse only because of nostalgia reasons. That's probably the only reason why I put it on there because it's Chucky. So maybe that will draw in some. Even
Well,
though,
yeah, same here. Like the nostalgia play, but like, go ahead with his list. I'll read you mine.
okay. So for 10, he put in Rocket Man.
Okay.
Number 9, it says Men in Black. 8, he put down Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. 7 is Pokemon. 6 is Toy Story 4. 5 is Hobbs and Shaw. 4, Spider-Man Far From Home. 3, Aladdin. 2, Lion King. And the number 1, which I think we all have the same idea in mind, is going to be Avengers Endgame.
I will tell you right now, Anthony. Everybody put Endgame as their number 1, except for 2 people.
Who?
And Remele, who you don't, he might have been in this chat a couple times. He put Spider-Man above Endgame, which I was like, that's not a thing.
I mean, I love Spider-Man, but like, there's no way it's going to be Avengers.
Yeah, no kidding. And another woman that I think she just grabbed 10 movies. Her list is so weird, and like here, I'll bring it up real quick because it is all over the place. So we got one from Remele, one from my buddy Nate.
Hang on, before you continue, your video froze. Just give me 1 second. I'm gonna reconnect to you.
Okay.
So there, folks. Let's see if I can reconnect. There we go. Okay, we're back.
Okay.
So continue.
So it's somebody that Josh knows that listens to All Queued Up named Brandy. Her list doesn't even have Endgame on it.
Interesting.
Yeah, like her number 1 is Ugly Dolls, which didn't even touch my top 10.
No, it'll be a cute movie. I think it would do okay, but I don't think it's gonna blow people's sticks away.
It'll do well enough, but it won't be in the top 10 for sure. Like top 20 maybe. But yeah, just about everybody else has Avengers as their number 1. It's just Remele who put Spider-Man then Endgame, and Brandy who didn't even put fucking Endgame on our list. But my list, Anthony, and I'll explain my choices here. So we'll go with my dark horses. I have Child's Play, Men in Black, International, and Brightburn.
Brightburn I really want to put on there. Like, I saw who's directed it and who's in it. It's like, fuck.
Yeah, so I think they're going to, the closer to release date of that movie, they're going to push it harder and harder with the James Gunn angle. But the thing that I think might keep it from hitting top 10 is there's still a lot of people who don't like James Gunn because of the bullshit that happened. So I think it has the potential of hitting top 10, maybe, but I was not confident enough to put it in there. But Men in Black and Child's Play, like Men in Black has the Thor Valkyrie angle, since that's, the stars.
Mm-hmm.
Chris Hemsworth and can't think of her name suddenly. The hell is her name? The girl who plays Valkyrie. I can't think of her name.
Oh, her. Yeah. I know what you're talking about, yeah.
But here's the thing that I've learned from the Summer Movie Wager. Something that I'll talk about on the other podcast. But movies that are PG or G do 1,000 times better than PG-13 or R. And almost everything on my list is G or PG.
Yeah, beautiful.
So there's only there's only 3 movies on my list. I guess Endgame is technically PG-13, but I don't count that in my, like, everyone has that as the number 1. John Wick 3, which is rated R. John Wick has a long, like, it kind of built steam over the course of 2 films, and people are fucking stoked for the third one. So I think that's going to be number 9. My number 10 is Godzilla, King of the Monsters.
Yeah.
I think that's going to bring in a lot of the nostalgia crowd. But Legendary Pictures has not really been doing a good job at promoting the MonsterVerse.
No,
So I
don't
don't think.
No, yeah.
So I think a lot of standard moviegoers don't know that Godzilla movie and then Skull Island are part of this like connected thread. Hopefully maybe the closer it gets releasing, they have some advertising budget, but so then my number 8 is Dark Phoenix, which I believe is
really, huh?
So here's why I have it in my number 8. It is the last Fox X-Men movie in that timeline. Sure, we have New Mutants coming out later in the year.
I thought that was canceled. I thought that was, or maybe
no.
It might be.
So
maybe,
Disney,
or, go ahead.
at that big Disney conference, they announced that Dark Phoenix and New Mutants would be released this year, and that 2020 and on, they are probably most likely going to reboot X-Men entirely. So this is the last X-Men Fox film in that timeline with those actors. I think it's going to do very well. Like, I think a lot of people are going to be like, well, this is the last one. We need to go see it. I think that's what's going to push it.
I see. I see what you're saying. I see exactly what you're saying. You're saying, okay. Gotcha. Yeah. Okay.
My numbers 6 and 7 are Lion King and Aladdin. They might be in the wrong spot. I'm 100% honest with you there. Like, I might have them too low. But I think they're going to be neck and neck with the amount they make. I think parents are going to see both those and just be like, yeah, let's go take the kids. Like, it's a no-brainer. Both films are very much like exactly the animated movies. My fucking stream just fucking crashed. Anyway, I was like, why is my face frozen on my TV? And a lot of parents of a certain age, ones that have kids that are 10 or younger, will just be like, oh my God, Lion King and Aladdin, I watched this as a kid, which is great, which is awesome. So I think a lot of parents are going to be taking their kids to see those too. And I think they're going to be about the same. My top 5, however, are number 5, Pokemon Detective Pikachu. The more and more they show of that movie, the more and more I'm like, ooh, it's hitting some nostalgic notes.
Oh, like, yeah.
And it's got the Ryan Reynolds angle of being kind of funny. It's got Pokemon in it, for fuck's sake. And I think a lot of Pokemon fans are going to be really, really curious about it.
Oh, definitely.
So the Pokemon company they've made a CGI remake of the very first Pokemon movie.
Yeah,
I heard with Mew and Mewtwo and all that shit.
Yeah, I heard about that. Yeah.
So far, the reaction I've seen online is people hate it, but the reaction for Detective Pikachu is more like, I'm curious, not so much hate or immediate love. I mean, I'm immediately in love with it. I want to see it so badly, but it's a lot of just like, I want to see more of the Pokemon in this like photorealistic sense. I want to see what this world can do. I see a lot of curiosity, and I think that's going to drive like, and it being at my number 5, I think has a lot to do with it's going to be a good movie, and so people are going to go see it multiple times. But number 4 is Hobbs and Shaw.
Yeah. I was not with that movie for a little bit, but after seeing the last trailer, I was like, okay, yeah, they're just going way over the top now. Like, I have to see this movie. They put freaking Roman Reigns in the movie. They have him do the actual WWE spear move before he hits somebody. It's like, wow, okay, you guys are going over the top. I have to see this now.
My birthday was on Sunday, by the way, just for that sake. But yeah, I mean, it's. If you've seen the last 2 Fast and the Furious films, which are huge successes, they always hit top 10, like top 5, easily, because people fucking love it. It's just dumb popcorn summer movie. it's the kind of movie you get a bunch of friends together. You have a few Coronas in the fucking parking lot next to cars. You go eat a meal at fucking Olive Garden because that when you're there, your family, and then you go watch a goddamn fucking Fast and Furious movie. It's just fun. It's just pure dumb fun, and I think people really attach to that. And not to mention, these two characters had easily the best chemistry in the last Fast and the Furious movie. And I remember saying when I watched that movie, which I believe is number 7, might be number 8, I don't remember. I remember saying, like, if we could just get a Rock and Jason Statham movie with these characters, that would be awesome. And they were like, yeah, sure, we got that. Also, the guy who directed the first Deadpool movie, we got you. I was like, okay, done and done. It's going to be hilarious and fun and dumb, and I can't wait.
Yeah.
But I think a lot of people are going to attach to that really easily and really quickly. I might have it too high on my list because it doesn't have, the typical Fast and the Furious characters. But it is technically titled Fast and the Furious Presents Hobbs and Shaw.
Mm-hmm.
So that might get some people in the seats that, maybe weren't interested. I don't know. But I think it's going to do very well. Then I have Spider-Man Far From Home. Mm-hmm. So I think this Spider-Man movie is going to do very, very well because it's going to be riding the coattails of Endgame. Mm-hmm. Which, again, is my number 1. And it's going to have a lot of people going into it going like, what is the world going to look like after Endgame?
Yeah, that's the big question. That's a huge question, definitely.
Like, there are end credit scenes to Endgame. Are they going to lead into Home or Far From Home? Like, how does Far From Home figure that out? So there's a lot of that, and so I think that's why it's going to be number 3. But number 2 is going to be Toy Story 2. Toy Story 4.
Interesting. That is interesting, but kind of almost vaguely the same as mine. Vaguely. Yeah. So that was your third or second pick? Toy Story.
Second.
Okay. Then Avengers.
Yeah, my third is Spider-Man because, like, it could be argued that Spider-Man could overtake Toy Story 4.
True.
But Toy Story has such a strong connection with a huge generation of people. Like, it's just, I feel like it's a situation, but yeah.
We shall see as the summer moves on. Out of curiosity, when are you seeing the Avengers?
When am I seeing it?
Mm-hmm.
Friday after work.
Rules. My date's Tuesday next week. Chris got his tickets for Monday next week. So.
There's 2 theaters here in Oak Grove that are showing it,
mm-hmm.
and I looked at the one closer to my house, and like I was like, okay, 1:30. I get off work at 1. I was like 1:30. All seats are taken. And the closer I got to the evening, it was even worse and worse and worse.
Yeah.
And I can't sit more than like if it's mid to front, I can't do it. It's either mid to back. Like that's it. The closer I get, the more of a headache I get. So, and like all those seats were always taken. So I was like, oh, let me check the other theater. And like at 2:45, it was like an empty fucking theater.
Oh,
I was
wow.
like, oh my God.
Wow.
So not only did I get aisle seats because my dad has a bladder issue. He's an old man. It's I don't know. It's really cool that basically it looks like the exact same theater where I saw Infinity War is where I'm seeing Endgame. But a year ago, Anthony, I don't know if you remember this, but my knee was all fucked up where I couldn't walk.
Mm-hmm.
So now I'll actually get to see an Endgame with not a fucked up knee.
Nice. Awesome.
So if I do have to get up in the middle of the movie to go pee, I'm hoping I don't.
That's the kind of been the strategy people are trying to figure out. Like, how is people's plans to go in there and not go to the bathroom for the next 3 hours?
Legitimately, I'm going to go to the theater. We're going to try to leave here at 2. and get there half an hour early. I'm gonna sit there, and then like 10 minutes before it starts, I'm gonna run to the bathroom and like push a pee out.
Oh wow.
Because I want to drain my fucking bladder before the movie starts, so that way I just don't move.
I hear it. I intend to not drink anything at all at the movie theater. My plan is to,
Oh yeah,
maybe
no, not even at the movie theater. Like after work, I'm drinking a moderate glass of water.
Yeah.
It's kind of crazy that we have to plan that shit.
I know, right? What world are we living in to actually say that? But yeah, I'm super excited. That and I don't really watch Game of Thrones much, but like my brother's been watching it here, so like I saw the last episode, and I'm gonna watch probably the next one, that hour plus long episode where everybody's gonna die. So I'm like, oh, cool. It should be fun to watch. It's basically two towers in my mind. It's not. I know it's not, but it's very similar in that aspect with that episode leading up to it.
It's crazy because the thing about Infinity War and Endgame is, as somebody who grew up reading the comics, and I know plot threads that they could take, I've heard a lot of people say that even the stuff that you might be expecting doesn't, like, so there's a guy that I follow on Twitter. I can't remember his name for the fucking life of me, but he has it like a YouTube video. And he actually put out the most honest early screening of the movie. And he was like, the first 2 hours he goes, they're okay. Wow. He goes, the first 2 hours are a standard superhero film.
Okay.
Nothing extravagant, nothing like over the top. He goes, it's fine. It's fun. It's great, but it's nothing. If Endgame was just the first 2 hours, you would be like, oh, okay, like that's how you'd feel. He goes, but that last hour is so magnificent and over the top and fan servicey that you're going to like leave the theater just in awe. And I was like, holy shit, that's awesome. I'm so happy to hear that. Like, it sounds like the first 2 hours are just build up. And that's,
yeah,
I'm super okay with that. But he was also talking about how that last hour completely breaks the mold of superhero films. Which I'm really curious what the fuck that means exactly. Like, because I've seen some shit in the superhero, I've seen some shit in the comics, and one of the big things about Marvel Comics is that a character's never really dead. Like, they'll stay dead for a while, but they'll always come back. You can't do that with the MCU. You kind of can, but you can't. Like, they kind of did it with Coulson, but I imagine that these actors want to leave the roles eventually, and they're going to have their characters killed off permanently.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking too. Yeah.
So, I think that's a huge factor into it. Plus, the next phase, from what I understand, is going to be drastically different.
You would have to. You would kind of have to be at this point.
Yeah, I mean, it's been crazy though. Like, it's been fucking 11 years of this shit, dude.
I know. Can't tell you the first time I went to see Iron Man, the very first one in theaters, and just being like, this is the most badass shit ever. And then continuing that.
Yeah, I remember when it was coming out. I was very much in the mindset that it was going to be the greatest superhero movie ever, because the way that they were painting it out, and then other like reviewers were saying, like, because G4 was still around at the time. That's how long ago this was. Keep that in mind.
Mm-hmm.
And somebody from G4 at the time who reads comics, she says that, who the fuck was it? God damn it. But she said, she was like, Iron Man is the superhero movie you've all been waiting for. And I was like, I got so fucking hyped from that. I was like, I cannot wait to fucking see this. And then I saw it and I was just like, wow, Jon Favreau fucking did it. Like, he made a superhero movie that doesn't suck.
Yeah.
And then Marvel Studios, like, They got bought out by Disney, and they had complete full reign of what they wanted to do, and they took these characters in directions that the comics did.
Yeah.
And that to me was the biggest key. But the biggest thing that they did, the smartest thing that they did, was they made sure that all the directors and writers were communicating with each other, but kind of like they let them loose. They took the leash off, and they were like, "Go ham." Like the Thanos thing, that was a thing mid-development of Avengers. Originally, that was their magnum opus. Like they wanted to do more films because it was making a shit ton of money.
Right.
But they were like, where could the story go? And one of Joss Whedon's favorite fucking characters or favorite villains was Thanos. And so he just honestly asked Kevin Feige and the CEOs of Marvel, like, can I put Thanos at the end of the film? Like the end credit scene. They were just like, yeah, sure. And then they ran with that. They fucking like ran fast with that. And that's another thing is like, as the MCU has progressed, people notice that Thanos's design has slightly changed.
Yes.
The tip of his skin has slightly changed. And that is literally has everything to do with they weren't sure how far they were going to take Thanos. So that's why in like at the end of Avengers he's like dark purple, and then suddenly in fucking Guardians of the Galaxy 1 he's like more blue than ever.
Yeah.
And now he's like at a decent, like more comic booky purple for Infinity War. And it's like yeah, these kinds of things you don't just write an entire fucking epic like this. It takes, you have to kind of go through time and figure it out. But how they've been able to shit out fucking 22 good films. Oh, I'm sorry, 21. We haven't seen Endgame.
Yeah.
Like people go like, oh, fucking Guardians of the Galaxy 2 wasn't that good, or
it was still pretty good. I liked it.
It was very entertaining. It's not a bad movie. They haven't made a bad fucking movie.
Well, I mean, the only bad movie I would say is like Thor 2.
See, I disagree.
Really?
When you look at the story of Thor 2, almost the entire movie takes place in Asgard. And it's about Thor dealing with his family issues. And it hits a decent number of notes. It's not the best film, but it's probably the weakest film of the entire 21.
Yeah.
But it's not a bad film.
Honestly.
It's not a situation where, like, for me and for a lot of people, sitting through that film is a slog. It's not. It's one of those more forgettable movies.
Exactly. I was about to say, because that movie was really forgettable for me. Like, I can't tell you the plot. I can't tell you what happened in Thor 2.
I can't, and I haven't watched it since its release. Like, literally, the Dark Elves from a different realm invade Asgard, kill Loki, quote unquote. They're fighting for the Aether, which turns out to be the reality gem. They end up going to Earth, and they go to London specifically, have a battle there where he's opening up the different dimensions to the different realms. Jane Foster and Thor are able to close it. Thor goes back to Asgard to talk to Odin, and as Odin says, "I want you to take the throne," and Thor denies it, you learn that it's actually Loki who's been sitting on the throne.
Was that Thor 2?
Yep.
I remember the ending, but I was that released Thor 2?
And then the end credit scene is Ray Stevenson's character, which I can't remember.
Oh wait,
what his name is.
Now I remember. Okay, it's starting to come back to me. That's right. This is what the movie where both Thor and Loki teamed up. Okay, gotcha. Okay.
Like I said, it's the family issue one, because there's the opening bit where he has to talk to Odin about doing some stuff, and he's denying all his ability and wants to go back to Earth, but the Bifrost is broken and all that kind of shit. Heimdall's like, yeah, it's kind of being repaired, but I can't really get you back to Jane Foster right now because it's broken. And Odin's like, well, I have a way for you to get back to Earth, but you don't really want to use it.
Right. Okay.
See, and that's the thing. Like, and maybe that's just me. Maybe it's just a me thing that remembers that movie that well.
Mm-hmm.
But go back and watch it. Honestly, go back and watch it with like a fresh mind. It's not a bad movie. It's just, unfortunately, a lot of it seems more inconsequential. Even though it's technically not, because it's where you learn where the fucking reality gem is. The ending leads into Ragnarok.
Yes, I remember that. Yeah.
People go like, I've honestly had people watch Ragnarok and go, I don't remember Loki pretending to be Odin. I was like, did you fucking remember anything from Dark World?
Yeah.
So, but then again, I guess this is also a big problem I have with people and how they watch movies in general. They just tend to forget a lot of details because they choose to forget these details. Like, unless you fucking slap them in the face and tug on their dick, they just forget shit. It's like, you gotta fucking understand that stories are told in the context that details matter.
I'm pretty sure they do. And no, I'm pretty.
Well, like people are saying.
Or go ahead.
People are saying that Captain Marvel's an inconsequential film.
No, it's
and I'm
not.
like, the fuck it is.
It is not. It is a fun film. It is a fun film to watch. It is, again.
It's a solid B. Yeah. An 8 out of 10. Yeah. Like it's not the best by a long shot, but it's fun. It has a solid plot. It has the hero's journey in it. It's great.
Yeah. It's your typical superhero movie, which I'm okay with. So.
I mean, I will agree to an extent that one of the criticisms that I will again agree with Marvel, or not Marvel, but people on, is that far too often, even arguably the best MCU film, Black Panther, has this same stigma, and that's, oh, the bad guy is just a mirrored version of the hero.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
We saw that way the fuck too often in Marvel films, and to an extent, Captain Marvel breaks that. Yeah.
Yeah, they definitely went in a different direction with that. I totally was like, oh. Bo, how long has it been? Well, I kind of want to say it, but has it been long enough? I'm going to say it anyways. Spoilers. Sorry, guys.
Here's my thing, Anthony. The movie has been out. Endgame comes out in 2 days.
Yeah.
If you haven't seen Captain Marvel, like, what are you doing?
Yeah, very true. Very true. Spoilers, guys, for the people watching and the audio listeners at home. I was really surprised the direction they took with the scrolls, because like leading up to it, and fantastic job by the guys who made the trailers and kind of following the comic lore that the scrolls were supposedly the big evil bad, as portrayed in the comics, and that they were going to be the main antagonists of the film, which it seemed that way. But
what's really funny about that, Anthony, is that nothing in that movie says the Skrulls aren't still assholes and bad guys and could lead into a secret invasion scenario.
Yeah, that's true.
People constantly take that. They're just like, it's like, no, those Skrulls weren't bad guys. But do you know how many Skrulls exist in the fucking universe? Or sorry, galaxy? It's a lot. It's a fucking lot. And the biggest issue with, in my opinion, how Marvel is kind of handling the Skrulls and the Kree is very smart. Because we have had cases and scenarios where the Kree and the Skrull are both bad guys.
Yeah,
but also good guys. Mm-hmm. And this is actually quite indicative to the comics. Depending on the Skrulls, depending on the Kree, like, you will have your villain, and I think they're doing a great job with that. I know a lot of people disagree with me on that, but I also don't give a fuck.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I totally lost the train of thought I was going to say afterwards, but yeah, we're all excited. We're all excited for Endgame.
I know a lot of people are like, how did that Kree who was trying to save other Skrulls Marvel technically. How did she, get access to the Tesseract? And I'm like, so you know how in the '90s they found Steve Rogers and he thawed out in the 2000s? I'm pretty sure they found his cube.
Yeah. Yeah. Some sort of explanation like that.
Well, there's in the first Avenger, we don't see them find the cube like in a different time era than Steve. Like that's the key aspect you have to take from that movie. There's no guarantee as to when they find Steve in the Tesseract. The only thing we know for sure is that it's like 2008 when he fucking runs out into Times Square.
Yeah.
So again, but that's the problem, Anthony, that I have with. So in the comic books, and you might remember this, the big events were like, it was like a solo comic thing. You had like 7 issues or up to 10 issues possibly, and it was its own individual story that just intertwined all of these characters, right?
Mm-hmm.
But then on the side, you had like all the Spider-Man comics, everything he was doing during, let's say, Civil War, right? You had all the Captain America ones, you had all the Iron Man ones, the Spider-Man, the Ant-Man or whatever. Every character still had their individual ongoing. It was just like on the outside of Civil War that was going straight. And the MCU doesn't do that. It almost feels like if you miss a film, you're going to miss a detail that goes into the big team-up movies.
Yeah. Treating movies like comic books in some capacity.
That's not. I'm saying the opposite of that. I'm saying that the MCU is not treating the movies like the comic books. You can't just ignore a film and then know what the fuck is going on in the next one. If you watched Endgame without seeing if you watched Infinity War without seeing Ragnarok, you would be very confused as to where the fuck Thor and Loki are.
Yeah.
But that's a solo Thor movie / Hulk movie.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Gotcha. Okay, gotcha. Okay. I misunderstood.
But in the comics, you don't have to read those side issues. You don't have to read the solo ones to know what the fuck is going on in each issue of Infinity War or each issue of Civil War, what the fuck ever, Siege, if you will. Like, you don't have to know the side issues. You just, like, sure, leading up, there's some stuff you might need to read, but overall, you cannot go into Infinity War without having seen the previous films to know what's happening.
Right.
Did you legitimately imagine, Anthony, honestly, in your thoughts, did you honestly imagine going into Infinity War without having seen Doctor Strange?
Man.
It'd be weird, right?
Yeah. But there's people out there who do. I'm not one of those people, but there are out there. But the good thing is that these Marvel films have trained people to watch or at least stay after the credits on each Marvel film.
Yeah, I know a lot of people are saying they're tired of superhero movies, but I would argue that the movie-going audience is not tired of them.
Mm-hmm. Agreed. Yep. It's still making tons of money, which means it's still a big thing. So
yeah.
Until people say no to a superhero film, then that is gonna keep on coming. So, which hey, more superhero movies. Thank you.
Yeah. So I wanted to briefly, since we're talking about movies, because we're going to talk about video games in a minute.
Mm-hmm.
Have you had a chance to see Hellboy?
I have not. I probably will at some point. I probably will. Maybe I don't know. Probably next week. Depends on how busy I am, honestly. Oh wait, take that back. I'm gonna be busy working on costumes. I will see it eventually. But I have heard from Josh, and I think you told me about it too. Um, like it is a much more kind of demonic take on Hellboy, much more of a grittier Hellboy than the Ron
Uh,
Perlman one.
I wouldn't say like yes, kind of in the demonic realm, but I wouldn't really say that. It's
Mm.
just it's a hard R. Like it's rated R. Like here's Deadpool rated
Mm-hmm.
R.
Mm-hmm.
Here's Hellboy. Here's like fucking Pulp Fiction. Here's Deadpool. Here's Hellboy.
Hmm.
So it's almost there. It's not nearly as funny. I'll be fucking straightforward with you on that. It's not nearly as funny as Deadpool, but it is comical, and but it's very gory. It's very gruesome, especially one specific scene.
Interesting.
Uh, and lots of cussing. Hellboy has a nasty potty mouth, which is fine. I see no issues with it. Apparently, that's how he was in the comics. I honestly have never read the comics.
Right.
But I saw nothing wrong with this version. Like it's just a bit darker than the Guillermo del Toro ones. And I think a lot of people are shitting on it because it's not Guillermo del Toro's third film. But you can't be mad at the filmmakers for taking something and running with it. Be mad at the studio for not allowing Guillermo del Toro to make a third one. Like,
Did they not allow him to the third one? Or wow.
oh yeah, yeah. Like Golden Compass, no, Golden Child, Golden City, no. The fuck was the second film called?
We have.
Anyway, Hellboy 2 did not do, or it did really well, and so they thought they were going to get a third one, and the studio was just like, nah. Golden Army in 2008.
Ah, gotcha.
Yeah, they like Guillermo del Toro and everybody thought that a third one was coming, and everyone was really excited about it, and it even got high. Like it, I mean, its Metacritic scores a 78 out of 100, so it actually scored higher than the first Hellboy, and yeah, they were gonna. I'm trying to remember what studio fucking produces this film. But yeah, they kind of fucked over everybody involved, including Guillermo del Toro.
Wow.
And so imagine being told, no, you're not gonna make another Hellboy movie. Universal. Okay, it was Universal. That's what I was trying to remember.
Were they just unhappy with the last one he made, or
How? It made almost triple what it cost to make. Like, there's no feasible, honest reason why Universal said no to a third. Absolutely no fucking feasible reason, other than they just said no. And imagine in 2009 being told, no, we're completely canceling the third film that would end your trilogy. And then 8 years later, or I guess 9 years later, they resurrect it without giving you a call.
that's some bullshit. Wow.
So I get why people are upset about that, but voice that to Universal. Like you fucking review bombing it is not doing anything. Because they don't look at that shit. Nobody cares about that shit.
It's all about the money.
But that being said, it is not well liked by regular audiences. That one review system that I really enjoy, or that I trust, Cinema Score.
Mm-hmm.
That I guess day 1 and 2 audiences gave it a C. So average to those people, I guess, or at least it's an average view. It's like scoring. So at best, it won't be bad. but I thought it was really fun. Like it's. I think that Hellboy is past his prime. Now, what I mean by that is, we've had some hellacious comic book adaptations. We've had uh, we've had a lot since Hellboy 2.
Yeah.
And I think that a lot of pardon me, sorry. I think a lot that Hellboy is and what Guillermo del Toro was doing could have been better, 5-6 years ago. People would have been up for it. But 9 years later, people are like, Hellboy is kind of a tired character. It's just, I think that, like, I loved the gore. I thought it was fun. But I think with, like, things like Walking Dead and Preacher that are on AMC, and you get to see gory shit, I would legitimately say, Anthony, that Preacher is gorier than this movie. And that's just a TV show. At least the last season was. Holy shit, the last season was very gory. But, I don't know, I'm just trying to figure out why audiences didn't like it as much, because it's not a badly told plot. It's really not. It makes sense. Unless you're my nephew that asks dumb questions during it. So no joke. Okay. This isn't spoiler territory, because the question he asked has nothing to do with any spoilers. The movie starts, right?
Mm-hmm.
Hellboy is in a truck, and his dad is calling him about not going too far with the alcohol in Tijuana. Hellboy enters a building where there's a luchador match happening. And my nephew leans over to me and he goes, "Hey, why is he called Hellboy?" Now, this is a fucking dumb question, clearly. And I leaned back and I was like, why the fuck do you think he's called Hellboy? And he says, I don't know. And I went, what's the first part of his name? Hell? So where do you think he's from? I don't know. I went, he's from Hell, which is why he's called Hellboy. So he's the devil? For fuck's sake, Dustin. Jesus Christ. I didn't say he's the devil, did I? I said he's from Hell. So what, he's like a demon? Yeah, kinda. Fucking ridiculous. But one of the big things about this movie, Anthony, too, is that Mike Mignola, he did like the Guillermo del Toro movies, but he wasn't one of the main people that helped with the script. He didn't sit down with Guillermo del Toro to write the script for the first two films. He sat down and helped write the script of this one.
Yeah. Interesting.
This is way more in line with his vision, but...
Okay. I definitely will see Hellboy at some point. Probably not next week because of Avengers, and also because I'm getting my costumes ready for anime. But I'll watch it eventually, because I loved Hellboy when those two movies came out, and I will definitely watch this one. So when that happens, I'll let you know what I feel about it. So we'll see.
I mean, I don't know. I think you'll enjoy it, but
yeah.
Are you? Do you watch Game of Thrones?
So I don't really, and I've been told that I should. And I actually, funny enough, like my brother has been watching them here recently. And I think the last two episodes, one of our friends came over to watch the last episode, and I was sitting there watching. And it's like, this is actually not that bad. This is actually pretty good. Like I never sat down to really watch a full episode of Game of Thrones, but I am really excited about the next episode, because apparently it's like an hour plus long episode. It's gonna be a huge battle. A lot of characters are gonna die. It reminds me a lot of the kind of two tower scene in Lord of the Rings, where you had a bunch of orcs going to raid a castle that Aragon and everybody else was defending or trying to keep a good front. And I kind of got the same vibes watching the last episode, especially toward the very end, leading up to it. So I had no context of who was who, and other than maybe Jon Snow, and like You know, just kind of watching from a fresh pair of eyes. I've never really seen a Game of Thrones episode in full. So I know it's huge. I know it's a big series. I don't know why I have not watched it yet. I'm not sure, honestly, myself. But I am definitely watching the next episode because I want to see what happens. So.
Okay. Well, if that's what you want to do, go ahead for it. But I would argue don't. It depends on how much you care about spoilers. Because honestly, the big, how do I put this politely? Attachment to characters is a huge portion of Game of Thrones.
Mm-hmm. As I heard about this series too, like just on the outside looking in, like I heard people say like, oh my god, they killed this character, and it's just like, oh yeah, well, okay, they did not care who they kill off, so all right, cool.
I think, oh, sorry. I think one of the biggest things about Game of Thrones is how the characters develop and you watching them grow. And like there's characters you will begin to hate and then continue to go on and love. It's kind of nuts, to be honest with you. It's kind of crazy. Like, I'll give you an example without trying to be as vague as possible. There's a character named Jamie. You hate him for a hot minute. Season 3, he starts to take a turn, but you still remember what he did, so you still kind of hate him, but you feel compassion for him. And as the show goes on, he does things that make you feel compassion for him, but then you continue to also hate him for other things. And it's this like balancing game in your head. And as the show continues, you start to like him more and more, even though he's fucked up. So you've watched his growth the entire show, and now you're attached to him. As with any character that is from season 1. Which, to be honest with you, Anthony, a lot of characters in that first season are or that episode you watched are from season 1.
Oh wow.
But also I should mention, a lot of those characters also kind of like, hey, season 1 happened, and this big event made all these characters go in their different directions. So imagine as writers, you've had all these characters do their own arcs, their own stories, and converge onto one spot in the last season. You know how fucking impossible that is as a writer?
It is like the Avengers, but in medieval
times.
It's
harder than that.
I meant reuniting everybody, essentially.
It's been fucking crazy. Like, people are talking about how like, oh, the first 2 episodes of the last 6 episodes are just like, the first episode was a bunch of reunions and everyone meeting, and this last episode is like character kind of study and growth and shit. I'm just like, yeah, because we've had 560 something days since the last episode. Mm-hmm. We need a bit of a primer to get us ready for the 80-minute Battle of Winterfell.
Oh hell yeah! You get a lot of talking, a lot of fucking.
Oh, I don't think there's going to be any fucking.
No, I meant in the last episode, but not in this.
There's a little bit of fucking.
Yeah. Yeah.
There are a lot of characters that will die next episode.
Oh yeah.
Guaranteed it.
Yeah. I'm just here for the bloodbath. So.
Here's my thing, Anthony. Like, tomorrow is my last day of not having irrational emotions over fictional characters.
Oh,
because
right. Yeah.
Friday I'm going to be a fucking mess. Saturday I think I'm just going to try to get mentally prepared for Sunday. And then like I might call into work on Monday. I don't know. We'll see.
I remember seeing a post going around kind of discussing that this weekend there's going to be a lot of fictional characters that are going to die. And like,
I don't know anything about Endgame. I don't know a single fucking thing about Endgame.
Nor do I.
But my theory is that we're only going to see 2 character deaths, and it's going to be Captain America and Black Widow. And people go, well, why Black Widow? Well, her movie takes place in the past. Her solo movie takes place in the past. Even if that still happens.
I was going to say, well, no, take that back. Robert did say he would like to come back as Iron Man, like, as a cameo, or who still would like to play the character. It's like not.
Well, I don't think Iron Man's gonna die, and do you want to know why?
Why?
He is a perfect parallel to Thanos. The entire Infinity War story is about Thanos being a father, correct?
That. Oh, I see.
What has Tony been doing the last few films with Spider-Man?
Yeah, that's very true. It's very true. You're right.
This is why Thanos took an interest in Iron Man on Titan.
Yeah.
Nobody else there was a father, or at least a father figure.
Yeah, it's very true. Well, yeah.
So there's going to be like the one to finally kill Thanos. My next theory, I don't know how true this is, but those suits that they have in the trailer, the red and white ones,
Yeah.
those are quantum suits. So something I noticed that a lot of people have kind of noticed, but I noticed right away, this part of the suit looks exactly like Ant-Man suit.
Oh.
And even go even further than that, it looks just like Hank Pym's suit when he goes into the quantum realm to get Michelle Pfeiffer in Ant-Man and the Wasp.
So they're going.
Color scheme.
So they're going into Thanos' asshole. All right, confirmed.
I didn't say they're shrinking. I said they're going to use the quantum realm to travel in time and find the Infinity Stones before Thanos can. Then they're going to come. They're going to converge back into the present, and Tony is going to have constructed his own gauntlet.
We shall see. It's gonna be really.
That's my theory.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, it's been the time traveling theory has been a thing for a hot minute.
Oh yeah, definitely. There've been talks about it. It's gonna be funny when I upload this audio, next week, alongside with the main podcast, and just kind of see if we were right or wrong on certain things. So.
Yeah, my theory is that they're gonna build their own Infinity Gauntlet. Travel through time, pick up the Infinity Stones, have a battle with Thanos with two gauntlets essentially, and try to fix the present instead of trying to fix the past because you can't fix the past.
Yeah.
Or, and hear me out on this one, you can't really travel through time. They're going to do that note, but you can travel to other dimensions in the past. So like,
Oh. Huh.
yeah, you see it like it's interdimensional time travel.
I'd be very curious to see how they tackle that on. Time dimensional stuff is always very, very tricky to handle in whatever medium you try to implement in.
And here's another thing about the post-credit scene that I really, really, really hope is like after everything's said and done, there's a shot of like Peter leaving his apartment, saying like later Aunt May, and he jumps out the window. He's flying through. He's swinging through New York, right?
Mm-hmm.
He lands on a build. Like he goes past some buildings. He goes back, past the Avengers Tower. He goes past the Sanctum Sanctorium. He lands on a building, and it pans out, and it's the Baxter Building with a giant 4 on it.
Yeah, that would be cool.
I'd be fucking. My nerd boner would be busting through my pants if they did that.
No, so the ultimate nerd boner for me, and this will never happen because this will happen at least for another 2-3 years, or maybe more than that, is the end of the movie and the end credits would be that it's a scene of the grass first, and then you start to pan out, and like it turns blurry, and then it unblurs, and then you see the front of the X-Men place, and then the theme music kicks in. Dun, 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 dun.
School for enhanced.
Yeah.
For enhanced children.
Yeah, I know that would not happen, but like if that happened and like the X-Men theme came on, I'd be like, oh god, oh.
here's why I don't think they're going that route.
Yeah,
and the big one is because Dark Phoenix and new Mutants is coming out this year.
Yeah.
And I don't think they're going to allude to a new X-Men franchise at the end of Endgame. But it's been a long time since we've seen a fucking Fantastic Four movie, and we know that Disney has the rights to those now.
That's very true. That's why I said like it won't never happen because X-Men. The thing they said like you won't see them until like was it
I think
2022 or 23? They
yeah,
said
22. Yeah. For a hot minute.
yeah. But
I think honestly, I think a lot of what we're gonna see next year, we actually, I'm gonna fucking say this. I think 2020 is the year where Marvel takes a fat fucking break.
I'll be okay with
I
that.
think
I'll be okay with that.
2020 we are getting no Marvel movies.
I'll be perfectly fine with that, honestly. If it means more awesome Marvel movies in the future, then by all means, take a break. Take a fucking break. All right, guys, it is that time to start the podcast.